Hey guys, so I decided to do a video on my Skyvault design that I did in Daegonner quite a bit because some people were asking me for it and I didn't tell anybody because it was kind of important for me not to, because I would have it kind of secret on Daegonner. But now that I don't really play factions anymore, I've decided to go ahead and tell everybody about it. I don't know if anyone else knows about this yet. I kind of figured out with my friend Walter back on Daegonner 3.0 or something like that, and it has not failed me yet, really. You just have to be smart with where you place it. You have to experiment a little bit, but most of my testing, like, I can have them last like half of a map, depending on how long the map is, and it's really easy to make. So the first thing you want to do, this is kind of a different part of it, but you want to come out to chords that are they're similar to this style. A really big number and a kind of smaller number. You don't want to go straight out from spawn. So if spawn is like 0, then this would be good. And you usually want to have one negative and one positive. This isn't like some arbitrary picking. This is just randomness to make it so if someone's looking for a sky vault, they're just going to keep walking in a straight line. To find this, what they'd have to do is walk in a straight line or keep changing their direction. So having coordinates like this is pretty good. You can have like coordinates like something like that, and it would work just fine. You just want to have the most random coordinates that you can have. This is the first off thing, and you want to have it in a snow biome, taiga biome, whatever, and kind of flat. You can see this is Y99. I'd recommend Y85 to 90, nowhere above 100 for sure. You can sometimes go underneath it. I wouldn't say go underneath 70. You can experiment with it though. For the most part, Y80 to Y90 is the best that I've seen in hiding it. And you're going to have these supplies on you. The chest count isn't really a big deal, but I made a pretty good design for the vault that is pretty compact. So of course you're going to build up to whichever height you have. I usually use sand. It's actually a really good method for building pillars. I'll show you in a second. Of course you wouldn't have fly here. I'm just doing it for the sake of the video. And I usually go up to like Y240. That's why the Y values matter here, because if your Y value isn't correct, you might see shadows or something like that. It really depends on what the height limit is on your server that you're playing on. But this gives you plenty of room to build everything that you need. So yeah. From here, I usually place down a few chests in the center. Oh. You gotta be careful with this. If you crouch above the sand, it'll actually bring you off. Okay, so you want to crouch right here to prevent yourself from being knocked off. It's kind of annoying, but you learn not to do it over time. And I usually set something like this at the very top, and I set home. And then you just go down there, have a second home. Usually if you have multiple homes on a server, it's really good to have 2 homes, one at the bottom, one at the top, and keep it there, because if your skyvault gets destroyed and they break it and you keep falling to your death, you won't be able to get your stuff. So you can just go to your home at the bottom of the skyvault and then just place down your slab, and your entire pillar will be broken in a matter of like 30 seconds, which is pretty good. It saves you time. And if you break it super early, just in case someone walks by and sees it, they'll know that there's going to be something built here. You might want to have a shovel on hand. You can just go somewhere where it isn't so obvious. Like right here, there doesn't need to be snow here to make it look real. So you can cut some out of there and make some snow and fill up any area that will be covered by your sky vault. So if my sky vault was directly above here and there's no snow, you want to have snow there. Obviously snow is a very important part of this, and you'll see pretty soon. I don't have any of the mods installed because I'm lazy, but just trust me, it works, because it's been my claim to fame on being a Rick raider, because they never get raided, really. You might get raided every once in a while, but that's when they get lucky. They might be looking up, they might see a shadow, or they have really good chest DSP. This will block Ray's minimap for the most part. Ray's minimap isn't so good with it, but it is perfect with voxel map, and that's where all of these Sky Vault raiders will go to for raiding, is voxel map. It blocks it perfectly on voxel map. You just have to do some experimentation. I definitely test it on both of them, but I've never really tested on Ray's Minimap. Ray's Minimap, the way it works is that it'll look slightly peachy, this slight peach. So what you can do to prevent that is have dirt in the area. So if I go and show you, you really want to terraform your area if you're really planning. So like if you have a few areas that doesn't have snow, make sure it's still not covering your sky vault. It'll be kind of confusing for them to find it still, because it'll be slightly peachy color. It's hard to explain. I don't have it on me right now because I'm too lazy to install it. But a shape like this is really compact. You don't even have to do this much. The smaller your sky vault is, the more it's going to be hidden. But this is probably the most compact design you can get. It's like 24 chests, I believe. So it's probably the best design that I have with this, and this is what I normally do. So with your white glass that you make, you're gonna stack up a bit. I usually do 4 high, and it will have to cover all of your chests. And this is where the variations start. I usually do 4, but depending on the Y value at the bottom, you're gonna have to change it a little bit. But typically 4 is enough. Sometimes you have to do 3, sometimes you have to do 2. You just want to keep going down here and looking at each mini map. You're gonna have 2 Minecrafts open or something, or having both mods installed at once. I don't really know. And keep switching between them to see which one works the best for you. You want to get the best happy medium. Normally you want it to be completely invisible on Ray's minimap, or voxel map, because that's the one where a lot of people use. Even though a lot of people would say that voxel map is, I keep getting it mixed up. A lot of people say that Ray's minimap is more popular, and it probably is. But people that are intentionally going out to Skyvault raid, in my experience, they'd be using voxel map, which is an illegal mod for the most part because it has a player radar. A few other minimaps I haven't tested with a bunch of minimaps, but these will definitely block the most popular one. And you may be thinking, you might see the shadow, whatever. It's actually, for the most part, it's usually too high for the shadow to be appearing. I have, excuse my voice, I have smooth lighting on and really low brightness, and there's no shadow. I guess if I had full bright, oops, what to do? Yeah. If I had full bright, maybe it would show, but I don't really think that would work. You will see the glasses rendered, but that's just because I was up there. Chest rendering only works whenever you're a certain amount of blocks away, and if I was up there and that chunk is loaded up there, or those blocks are loaded, then they're visible. But I believe if I do F3A, as you can see, they aren't here anymore. Oh, they are here. Okay. Oh, my bad. Still, it's a white dot in the sky. If someone's looking up and they see it, that's all they're going to see. That's why the smallest amount really matters. And I'm really thinking, because I remember not seeing them before. I'm fairly certain that they unload. Yeah, you can see it's still there. Okay, whatever. That's the only part you really see if you look up. You can't really prevent that unless you have a really huge difference in the Y values. This is kind of too high. So like I said, Y70 to Y80 is usually the best, and that might actually hide the glass in the sky. But then again, they have to be looking up like this the whole time, and you can see that tiny speck in the sky. Like even sometimes I couldn't see it. On voxel map, like I said, completely hidden. Depending on how you set it up, you have to be careful with the way you set it up. Ray's minimap is a really, really light peach color. It's like barely noticeable. You might have to add more glass layers to it, and that might help. But then if you add too many glass layers, it'll make it look too white on voxel map, and etc. So, what else could there be? Like I said, you want to have water nearby if you can't set 2 homes. So if you fall, you can catch yourself and then get your items after you die. It's also just good to have 2 homes, because if you're here and someone's pillaring up to it, you can, if they're using sand, you can break their pillar, whatever. There's a bunch of reasons why you want to have a second home. Just one right here, one down there, or maybe one on the glass if you want. Since I had like 12 homes on Daegonner, I had homes everywhere. And these are really good use in excess. If you have 3 of these going at once, really far away from each other, you can really use the what am I thinking of? The idea of this sky vault, because really the main thing is really minimal and it's compact. You don't want a lot of chests. If you have a giant sky vault, and that's the big issue, people make giant sky vaults, and that's why they get found so easily. I know from experience. I actually used to use voxel map when I was on Daegonner, because it was really op. Like every single chest in the sky was white, and with Ray's minimap, or it was brown, so they're really easy to see. Of course, voxel map is easier for finding sky vaults, which is usually legal, but we didn't use it for radar. We only used it for sky vaults. Chest DSP might show, but it really depends on the hack client that they're using. And this is almost irrelevant now because I've noticed that Factions is dying, but it could work on HCF servers if you want. You can set your F home up there. It's a good place to store your stuff, but then again, there's so many hackers on HCF that it's not even worth it for sometimes. Doing it on top of trees is also good because it might trick the person. If they see this slight peach color, they might think it's from the tree. You just have to make sure that there's still snow on top of the tree. In some cases, if you don't have snow on the ground, it'll still look fine, but you have to be kind of careful about that. What else is there to know? I mean, this is pretty much everything you need to know for Sky Vaults. Most of the stuff that you hear, like a sign thing with Ray's minimap, that is completely visible on voxel map. It is not hidden at all on voxel map. This one actually works for both of them, so it is probably the most effective method. I can't really think of other things. I mean, I've been using this since 3.0 on Daegonner, which is 2014 or something like that. So it's actually really good. Okay. But it's actually like, it's lasted me entire maps for the most part, so it's probably the best thing you can use.